Capital Territory Administration flags off mass vaccination of cattle against anthrax. Youths in the Federal Capital Territory call for inclusion of indigenous people in political appointments. And improving risk management takes center stage as Nigeria marks World Drowning Prevention Day. Good evening. Glad to have you join us on NTA Channel 5, Abuja, the Unity Station. I am Ifeanyi Izumba with the news. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has flagged off mass vaccination of cattle in the territory against anthrax disease. Speaking on the flagged off ceremony at Paikon Kuri, Gwagwalada Area Council, the Acting Secretary, Agriculture and Rural Development Secretariat, Abubakar Sadiq, said the vaccination will prevent an outbreak of the disease as well as ensure public health safety in the nation's capital. The report. Anthrax disease outbreak was recorded in a mixed livestock farm in Niger State sometime in July 2023. The Acting Secretary, FCTA, Agriculture and Rural Development Secretariat, Abubakar Sadiq, made known that the Permanent Secretary, FCTA, Olushade Adeshola, has approved the purchase of large quantity of anthrax vaccine, which scientists have identified as most effective in preventing the disease.
The doctors are enough and we're going to provide them, and they're all going to carry it out during this period. And they are going to be major Fulani settlements.
Director of Veterinary Services, FCTA Agriculture and Rural Development Secretariat, Dr. Regina Aduluba, emphasized on the need to address the situation.
It's safer for them as the cattle owners and their children and their family, because it can affect humans, and it's very deadly in humans as it is deadly in animals.
With this, we improve and also will bring a peace within the Fulanis, headmen and the farmers.
How happy am I? And also on behalf of the entire Fulani community all over FCT, I couldn't know that word that could be used.
Over 1 million cattle targeted for vaccination will be carried out by FCT veterinary doctors in designated centers across the 6 area councils of the territory. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Izumba, NT News. Multiple sclerosis, according to medical experts, is a disease in which the immune system eats away protective covering of the nerves, resulting to nerve damage and disrupt communication between the brain and the body. Hakimat Aliu in this report tells us about the rare medical condition seeking attention.
Multiple sclerosis is a rare medical condition in Nigeria, which experts say impacts the brain, spinal cord, and optic nerves.
So your brain has like a cord that comes all the way down. We call the spinal cord, and then the nerves come out from there. So multiple sclerosis is kind of confined to your brain and your cord, but it's like an immune attack on your body. So like your body is not supposed to be attacking its own cells, but for some reason it attacks the lining on top of your nerves, which is what we call the myelin sheath.
Meet Ereper Pobeni Bello, a middle-aged mother of 3 living with multiple sclerosis.
Started with me being paralyzed on my left side. So I lost movement, my speech. They actually thought it was a stroke. But then later we found out that it wasn't, because they found lesions in my brain and realized that it wasn't a stroke and that I had onset of multiple sclerosis. So since then, it has been drive to find some sort of solution for it, especially here for us in Nigeria, because all kinds of symptoms come up, from exhaustion to pain to fatigue to mobility issues to sensory issues. All those things are frustrating. They slow you down. So being able to live with those things in Nigeria especially is time consuming, it's taxing, especially because it's an invisible disease. People don't understand it. They think it's a figment of your imagination or you're making it up. So people don't even know what it is. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to treat us. So it's living one day at a time, just managing.
For a repair, working with a well-paid organization enables her to cater for the medical expenses that comes with managing multiple sclerosis.
The medication for, as of 2015 that I was on, was $1,500 a month. And you know what the exchange rate is now. The layman, the normal person, nobody can afford that. So we would like some sort of concession.
Although there are few cases in Nigeria, experts maintain the reality remains that the disease exists with no established causes and cannot be cured but managed.
Well, first of all, they have to be aware that they have a condition that had like this called multiple sclerosis. First of all, we should be able to educate people on the signs and symptoms. So if they have problems all of a sudden with vision, or they have abnormal, maybe all of a sudden they can't move a leg or both legs or their hand, they should go and see a doctor. So diagnosis, we want to enlighten people so they seek proper diagnosis, and when they are diagnosed, to realize that they must be on medications to suppress their immune system. So this is what we call disease modifying therapy. So it's like you're suppressing the whole immune system to keep it quiet so it doesn't keep attacking the myelin sheath on top of the nerves.
With not so much awareness even amongst medical professionals, Ereper Bello established a non-governmental organization, Multiple Sclerosis Awareness in Nigeria, founded in 2019 to raise awareness about the condition and get the attention of government and individuals towards bringing succor to persons living with the condition. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
Ensuring eco-friendly environment is the responsibility of all and sundry, hence the need for the FCT residents to make it a habit to plant a tree in their neighborhood. City managers reiterated this need during the tree planting exercise in Guzabe district of Abuja. Onoza Yakubu tells us more.
7,000 trees have been earmarked to be planted in Guzape district to ensure friendly ecosystem in the FCT. City developers and managers have urged residents to shun the habit of indiscriminate felling of trees, as doing so can result to desertification with negative impact on the society.
If you go to Maitama, if you go to Jabi, you see that the roots of trees are now affecting our asphalt. And it is not good. There was a mistake ab initio from the beginning. But now the kind of trees they are planting now are trees that will not, the trees will not damage any of our infrastructure. From beginning, tree planting has been part of the infrastructural provision for this infrastructure design for the city.
Relevant non-governmental organizations on ecosystem have been advised to support government in ensuring greener nation's capital city.
We are hoping to plant 20,000 trees in these 3 selected districts, and we have made a lot of progress in this regard. And that is this where we are now is a continuation of that effort. We have water tankers that we hope to water the plants, and we also make provision for the chemicals. So we are going to apply them.
The Park and Recreation Department says 20,000 trees are expected to be planted in the FCT this year. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Youths in the Federal Capital Territory are calling for equity and inclusion in governance and representation of indigenous people of Federal Capital Territory through cabinet-level appointee. Representative of the Abuja Resident Youth Association made the call while interacting with pressmen. Cecilia Julius reports.
The youths, while commending President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for a bold step towards revamping the nation's economy, urged stakeholders to support the tax harmonization policy of the government.
Federal government have an exclusive right on collective value-added tax, so the state government in this regard is FCDA, and they have said also that they also want to have the exclusive right to collect taxes and now remit to all other organs, which we see as a very, very welcome idea. What we also just needed them to do is to extend their enlightenment to residents and other stakeholders on how that is being, considered appropriately.
Everyone in FCT is solidly behind the inclusion of the indigenes of the Federal Capital Territory to be one. At least let us have even a minister. I believe we should have a minister, because if the FCT is being treated as a state, as the tribunal has rightly said, that the 25% of FCT is just like the 25% of every other state. So why can't the Federal Capital Territory not be treated as a state?
They pledge continuous support to the presidency and the Federal Capital Territory administration in building a Nigeria that would foster the prosperity of its citizens. Cecilia Julius, NTA News.
According to the United Nations and World Health Organization statistics, an estimated 236,000 people get drowned every year, placing drowning amongst the 10 causes of death for children and youth between age 1 to 25 years. It is on this note that the United Nations General Assembly in April 2021 ratified the 25th of July as annual World Drowning Prevention Day. Ilyasu Nta Yakubu in this report takes a look at efforts targeted to improve risk management.
In Nigeria, and particularly the Federal Capital Territory, urban flooding resulting from man's negative activities towards the ecosystem is responsible for over 95% of water risk-related disasters. Coincidentally, a handful of lives have been lost over the course of the years, with flooding ravaging through communities across the territory. Disaster and emergency managers identified the nonchalant attitude of victims to caution and sensitization of casualty statistics to drowning.
You have equal chances of getting injured or dying, both on land, in air, and in the water. Water is just part of it. So just relax, and the more you relax with water, the better you can stay afloat.
Flood-induced deaths in the territory is one case too many. The context around drowning and its prevention makes use of advocacy initiatives developed for the occasion. The FCT Emergency Management Agency says its volunteers are constantly placed on simulation exercises for multi-sectoral actions to improve risk reduction and management.
Even when the United Nations adopted this drowning, International Day Against Drowning, they also emphasize about the government of every nation supporting the education.
A global advocacy event, World Drowning Prevention Day, serves as an opportunity to highlight the tragic and profound impact of drowning disasters on families and communities, as well as offer life-saving solutions to prevent it. In Abuja, Nta Yakubu, NTA News.
The Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, has denied the allegations that its facility was responsible for the death of a 35-year-old man who got electrocuted Sunday night at Area 8, Garki, Abuja. Udiri Oboru Arutere gives us the report of the reaction and more insight in the incident.
Residents of Area 8, Garki, Abuja are still at a loss following the untimely and mysterious death of Kena Sonshak in circumstances which are still very unclear. Many in the area had adduced the cause of the death as electrocution. However, the Chief Marketing Officer, Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, Ray Donald Etim, reacts to the incident.
I'm aware of it as well, and I can tell you with every sense of responsibility that contrary to what people think, that body was not electrocuted by any of our facilities, either a primary facility or a secondary facility. And I'll go very early to state that because a dead body is found lying not far away from our installation, does not mean that it was electrocuted.
Meanwhile, the corpse of the deceased has since been evacuated from the scene and deposited at the mortuary. Residents of the area are pleading that the relevant authorities come the area and dismantle all faulty electrical cables and broke down electrical installations to avert similar incidents. Udiri Ogboru, Arutiri, Nta News.
The words are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is deep inside, but I still want to hide tonight.
Is this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced. The power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
Up next is Sports Brief.
Ahead of the 2023 Women Afro Basketball Championship, Nigeria's D Tigress departed Kigali, Rwanda, venue of the event. The defending champions, Nigeria, will play the opening game of the championship this Friday against DR Congo. Talking football, Nigerian champions Eyimba will square up against Al Ali Benghazi of Libya in the first round of CAF Champions League. The draws for the first preliminary round of the 2023-2024 CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup were made this Tuesday at CAF headquarters in Cairo. Nigeria's other representative in the Champions League, Remo Stars, will face West African neighbours Miedema for a place in the second preliminary round of the competition. In boxing, ahead of the highly anticipated rematch against Anthony Joshua, scheduled for August 12 at the iconic O2 Arena in London, Dillian White has expressed his frustrations concerning what he perceives as a lack of respect from the boxing establishment. With his sight firmly fixed on the impending rematch, White's words reflect an unwavering determination to persevere against all odds and showcase his mantle as an elite boxer. With Sports Brief, Francisca Bile, Nta News.
The Sports Brief concludes the English version of the news. Up next is news translation. I am Ifeanyi Izumba. Good night.
Bajida baye bache bawe muse kwenkwa we ngona na iwo abadanu atuko natuko ishandaje zuma oniye wagoba ngai baiza mbadai wachige ataku albasa baje ayabi njesun kinzi na bodo chi atuko tunu bayan sambo no ajin awokubo labai no ayikolo na apabu bege antrasi Ifeanyi Ozumba woni be gigi abana abani aihwin anako achi mpai konkwere nkoni filo ngwagolada gwamnati bibi akinsin na yan wa gege ababa bwashi yakayakai yanu ofasapa Rabiu Sadiq wa gege ahwin achienu na ba ge yasen kwen tokwa godiyan aje akinsin dan shi nda ayoshi nsapa lafiya ya na bai awo agmada nu ahwiba nanu okinzina nu ayashi sepa oneze yakubu nwale sheba webe na madai wagenge na bai abwabe shi chowo ye shwa shi kotejin zakai tnutnu antichenu akinzina abi balakola kwa bazo kunu tnutnu ya na bage zazahai washi shwa bege mbane jimba shi abe awe nsepaye bane dade nsai nu abe yin aishi ashwache ne jiba na yiko be guzape nko ni filo nu gwamnati bibi akinzina yi gbedogun akinzina abiya bayi gwamnati lo tuge ngbedna nu yinkun nge ajin nkunsun mbai gwamnati ye nkoyin kwa wuge ye azanzan lo ngwa idnado aiche ai pababo osa nu ajilo aitin azache nba ba jin tin fi gwamnati ye nkoyin Cecilia Julius ona le sheba webe na bedai wa gan ge gbaza bedai wa chige ewi nkwa kwen sednanu nkun beje yegonye kwa az awima atuko tiche no ngabie bedogunyenya abi ani ya danu okinzinda bani dabede nsai mbabe jimba ta aza no abeda kui ba gan gwamnati atozo bamu osanu ajilo aitin aza mba ba jimba ku abaje dnanu gwamnati ye nkwen omaje abobagwa ulela no saisu
kallo da sauraron mu assalamu alaikum barkanmu da warhaka a takaice ga fassarar wasu daga cikin labaran al'umma akan ciwon a ƙauyen Fekon Kore da ke yankin karamar hukumar Gwagwalada. Mukaddashin sakataren sakatariyar noma da raya karkara Rabiu Sadiq ya ce allurar za ta dakile ci gaba da barkewar cutar sannan za ta kare mutane daga kamuwa da ita a nan birnin tarayya Abuja. An bayyana samar da muhalli mai ni'imar bishiyoyi a matsayin nauyin da ya rataya a wuyan al'umma gaba daya, inda aka buƙaci al'umma mazauna birnin Abuja da su mai da shuka bishiyoyi a matsugunansu tamkar ɗabi'ukacin atisayen shuka bishiyoyi a unguwar Guzafe da ke nan birnin Abuja don raya birnin da kuma daidaita sahun gwamnati a sanya su a cikin makarraban gwamnati. Sannan a yi la'akari da 'yan ƙasa wajen raba mukaman gwamnati. Lan ƙungiyar matasa mazauna birnin tarayya Abuja su ne suka bayyana buƙatar haka a taron manema labarai a nan birnin Abuja, inda suka bayyana mahimmancin tafiya da matasa a gwamnatin nan tare da la'akari da baiwa 'yan asalin birnin Abuja mukami ko da na minista ne. Ƙarshen labaran namu ne kenan, sai kuma gobe idan Allah ya kai mu.
Ekele gị nọnyere anyị n'akụkọ ụwa nke taa. Aha m bụ Rachel Ifi unu gere akụkọ ụwa na uju ya. Gọọmenti isi ala anyị amalitela igba ehi ọgwụ mgbochi nje anthrax n'isi ala anyị. Ifeanyi Ezumba wetara akụkọ na onye isi n'ụlọ ọrụ na-ahụ maka ọrụ ugbo na mmepe obodo Rabiu Sadiq mgbe o sonyere na mmalite ya bụ ọgwụ mgbochi n'ime obodo Fekon Kore dị na okpuru ọchịchị Gwagwalada kwuru na ọgwụ mgbochi a ga-egbochi mmụba ya bụ nje ma mee ka ahụike ndị niile bi na isi ala anyị bụrụ ịgba. Ịhụ na gburugburu ebe obibi anyị mara mma abụrụla ihe a hụrụ dịka oke n'ọrụ dịrị mmadụ niile bi na isi ala anyị. Onoze Yakubu wetara akụkọ na onye na-elekọta isi ala anyị kwupụtara nke a mgbe ha na-akụ osisi n'obodo Guzape dị na isi ala anyị. Ya bụ nwa amadi gakwara n'ihu gbaa ndị niile bi na ya bụ obodo ume ka ha were ịkụ osisi kpọrọ ihe. Ndị ntorobịa n'isi ala anyị akpọkuola gọọmenti maka ịha nhata ime ka ha sonye n'ọchịchị nakwa ime ka ụmụ amaala isi ala anyị sonye n'ịchị isi na isi ala anyị. Cecilia Julius wetara akụkọ na onye nnọchianya otu jikọrọ ndị ntorobịa niile n'isi ala anyị kpọrọ oku a mgbe ya na ndị nta akụkọ na-enwe mkparịta ụka. Igbo gere m ntị, otu aka ọha anyị n'ọnụ n'akụkọ ụwa nke taa. Ndewo.
ìròyìn ló ń dẹ́sẹ̀ tí pé láti lè ṣe àmóhùnmáwòrán ìkànnì karùn-ún l'Àbújá Ọláyínká Adéníjì ni oníròyìn ní báyìí iléeṣẹ́ tó ń ṣètò ìdàgbàsókè olú ìlú Nàìjíríà Àbújá ti gbé ìgbésẹ̀ láti ṣètò fífún àwọn aráàlú Àbújá ní abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára láti kojú àrùn anthrax èyí tó jẹ jáde lára jíjẹ àwọn ẹranko tó ti lùgbàdì àrùn yìí tẹ́lẹ̀ rí. Nígbà tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ níbi ayẹyẹ yìí ní páíkóńkórè tó wà lábẹ́ ìjọba Gwagwalada, Rabiu Sodiq tó ń délé fún ọ̀gá àgbà iléeṣẹ́ tó ń ṣètò ìdàgbàsókè ìgbèríko fìdí rẹ̀ múlẹ̀ wípé gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n bá ti gba abẹ́rẹ́ yìí èròǹgbà wọn ni wípé yóò mú kí àrùn náà ó di àfisẹ́yìn ìtẹ́gùn fiṣọ lára wọn láìsí àní-àní gẹ́gẹ́ bí aṣojúkọ̀ròyìn wa Ifeanyi Izumba ṣe jábọ̀. Kí agbègbè àti ìgbèríko ó lè wúlò fún kó wá jẹ́ akitiyan gbogbo mùtúmùwà bó ti wù kórí ní èyí tí ó fi mú kí àwọn aráàlú Àbújá ṣe ibi ààbò lábẹ́ igi láti rí dájú pé wọ́n gbin igi kan sí agbègbè wọn. Ní ìletò Gùsàpé ní àwọn alábòjútó agbègbè náà ti parọ̀wà yìí níbi ayẹyẹ igi gbígbìn sí ìletò ọ̀hún gẹ́gẹ́ bí Ọ̀nàzè Yakub aṣojúkọ̀rin wa tó ṣe jábọ̀. Àwọn ọ̀dọ́ langba ìlú Àbújá ti ké pe ìjọba àpapọ̀ wípé ọmọdé gbọ́n àgbà gbọ́n òun la fi dálẹ̀ Ifẹ̀ ní kí wọ́n rí dájú pé wọ́n ṣe olú ìlú Nàìjíríà Àbújá láti má gbàgbé àwọn ọmọ onílẹ̀. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ wọn nígbà tí wọ́n ń bá àwọn akọ̀ròyìn sọ̀rọ̀ pọ̀ wọ́n fìdí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí lélẹ̀ ní èyí tí Cecilia Julius aṣojúkọ̀rin wa jábọ̀ rẹ̀ dáadáa. tó ròyìn ọ̀hún kò ní ju báyìí lọ èmi ló ní kọ́ńpù àgbọ̀nsàrẹ̀ lónìí họ́wùhọ́wù èmi rẹ̀ lájọ́ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà yìí ẹ jẹ́ aṣẹ́kọ̀dára ọ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan láwùjọ kásán láyọ̀.